Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to see if I can live stream again because it has been a long, hard summer here talking to myself, and I don't know to keep doing that. It is Taco Tuesday. I'm probably not going to talk about much to do with religion today. I'm thinking seriously about a topic for Taco Tuesday. I don't really know. I was thinking about doing Christian nationalism, chronic dissonance, or weaponized incompetence, which is always a popular topic. And that people don't realize they're doing. If you know who I am, I'm Suzanne Titkemeyer. I used to write for a place called Pathos for over 10 years, a column called No Longer Quivering every single day that had to do with the quiverful evangelical movement. It had to do with the non-denominational high demand aspect. Hey, Bliss! Experiment. Yes, I'm trying to see if I can live stream again. And I don't have an actual topic at all right now. I'm just going along, kind of spitballing. Hey, Gigi and Celine, I'm trying to see if this works because I've had nothing but slow internet speeds, but it seems like they are getting better. So I thought, well, I would come on here and just ramble. Hey, Kentucky girl. Oh my goodness. Good to see you. Um, went to my first cruise. It was awesome to Bermuda out of Boston. I am so glad. I've never done the cruise thing. My in-laws were huge cruisers. They used to love to go on cruises. But they are also ballroom dancers was their hobby, so they would go on these cruises and they would be doing their dance and let's do the rumba, everybody. And the next thing you knew, everybody would get up and dance. My in-laws were really awesome like that. Not me. I've got two left feet and one of them's on backwards. So it's too hard to balance. I got some exciting things come up. I did a shop last night in a place in Nicoya where they get big signs, don't photograph. Well, guess what? I managed to sneak doing a video. So you're going to get the thrilling side of me in Costa Rica shopping. I didn't really need groceries, but I bought a few grocery items just for the hell of it. Hey, Yvonne. Anna, I'm sorry. My brain is stuck on stupid right now. We spent the day yesterday in Nicoya, past Nicoya, down to where Samara is, and over to Carrillo Beach, and just had a blast. We were trying to go to the Macaw Rescue Center there in Punta Islita, but I heard they were closed. We were told by the guy who owned the Esperanza Hotel right along there that they hadn't been open. They had some people come in and they tried to go take the tour. So I'm going to have to wait until high season next year to do it. Well, yeah, next year. I'm going to wait till 2025 to hit up the parrot rescue in order to take a look at all the macaws. Carnival, the spirit of the sea. I have heard horrible things about some cruises, and I follow this guy named Jay who does cruises. He's worked on cruise ships, so he has all kinds of information on his site. I'm going to go ahead and put a link to his channel in my description. Jay is somebody that started after COVID and his channel has just exploded. He talks all the time about the cruises that he goes on and does a lot of videos and all kinds of stuff. Um, yeah, Bliss, it was great. We went for the day. We're going in a couple of weeks. We're going to go to first of all, we're going to spend some time in Arenal, one of my favorite places in this entire world. It's in the mountains here. There's a big lake, it's a man-made lake. It's the biggest source of hydroelectricity in the entire country, and there's all kinds of windmills and things around it. But the lake is beautiful, and there's an active volcano there that sometimes belches out a little smoke. I stay at this place on the slopes of a dead volcano that you can walk to the waterfalls from, and there's all kinds of hiking paths and different things. We always stay there, and it's always the most wonderful place on earth because there's no television. So my husband tends to do this thing that drives me crazy right now. Um, he likes to watch Fox News, CNN, in those kinds of places, those kinds of jokers who are shouting out what they think should and will happen. And I'm just kinda done with it. I'm done with it. I'm over it. I know who I'm gonna vote for. I don't need to see either side beat themselves up. Cheryl, I wish I could walk better because I would go down behind the waterfalls. If you could hike down low enough, you can get in the caves that are behind the waterfalls, and the cave system there is pretty amazing. There is all kinds of crazy stuff to be seen there. So I would like to do that. I can't do it right now. Yeah, Fox News and CNN, and they're both bad right now. There's all this screaming and carrying on about what needs to happen, and I don't know. All I know is I'm tired. I'm over talking about it, hearing about it, thinking about it. I just kind of want to avoid the rest of this election until it's over with. Got to the point I don't even care who wins at this point. Let's boom boom, bring it on, do it the thing, and all that. So there's no televisions there. It's great. It's peaceful. We always stay in a big villa there. I'm going to be filming from there, doing a live stream and showing you guys what the villas are like because they are gorgeous. And the last time I was there, I got real lost and I ended up hiking around the property. That was pretty strange. Um, yeah, let's move on. That's one of those things. I'm ready to move on, Cheryl. I'm with you. So we have a bunch of stuff happening in this world right now that I don't quite understand. I don't know quite what to do with it. I just know I want to walk the beach and collect sea beans and various things. So it's been quite the time. No, I did a video recently where I talked about why I would not be talking about KJ any longer. I haven't heard anything from law enforcement yet, but who knows? So something interesting. The international CNN place videos, not the chopped up stuff. It's weird. Um, they do that here. They do that here too. We have CNN International, and we have American CNN. So we have the double dose here, and it's not necessarily the best stuff. Crazy watching from Canada. Yeah, it's crazy watching it from Costa Rica, and you're watching this, scratching your head, going, "What? Why are they fighting over that? What does that have to do with anything?" And I always just kind of laugh about how crazy horrible all of it is. I lock myself into my studio and paint a lot now because I can't handle any of the crazy things going on. And I do like BBC. I'm going to say BBC World Service here is actually pretty good without being all ranty and shock jock nature that the other two channels have turned it on. Yeah, I imagine it is. So what do you think about Trudeau as your prime minister? I'm curious because every Canadian I've talked to hates his guts. And it's kind of funny. He has a house here in Tamarindo, and I see him every now and then strutting around the beach in his little short surfing. I watch international CNN plus the European news, and I think is more well rounded. Cheryl, you're exactly right. It is much more well rounded. Europe is less kind of crazy. You're a Trudeau supporter. You're one of the few ones I've talked to then. Most of the people are ready to string him up. The whole world is going crazy, get sucked in at times. It's hard to stay sane. Kentucky girl, exactly. And that was why. Oh, you're back in Texas. I didn't realize you had left the Netherlands. Oh, awesome. I haven't spent a whole lot of time in Texas, but being from Louisiana, it's right next door. So I've just been avoiding that, and I've been avoiding the whole Katie Joy thing. I had to stop posting about her. I had to stop talking about her in way, shape, or form because I started getting death threats that I believe that are related to the whole thing that Nikki's got going on. Nikki is having her own time of being harassed by these people. I got enough death threats that I just went ahead and had enough and went ahead and filed. I went ahead and filed with the law enforcement. They advised me not to talk about her in any way, shape, or form, to not engage at all. So, I'm just over that. I'm hoping that Robert Shin wins, let's just put it that way, and I don't even like him at all. So you moved recently, good. Yeah, poor Nikki, she's having a rough time of it now, and I think the best thing she could do is just shut up about it and file with law enforcement because that's what it's gonna take. I think if enough of us file who are getting these death threats, that has to have some kind of effect. Somebody eventually is gonna say, "Wait a minute, something's not right here." And with you, she isn't worth talking about. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're all hoping that he wins. I'm worried about Nikki. She sounds really bad. I know, same, J. Marie. I'm worried about her too. And it's a bad situation because she's raising her son and she's getting death threats against both of them. I'm just getting them against me. And it's like, I got one foot on the banana peel and the other on the tombstone. So you might be doing me a favor, dude. Kind of reached that point with my health journey that I'm just like, I tore a muscle in my knee back in February, and I've just been in hell since, waiting for that to heal. And it's been a long journey. It's impacted my mental health along with my husband's cancer surgery and the aftermath. He had a terrible time of it with recovery. So I was in and out of the hospital. And it had a big impact on me. I walked away with some trauma, and it has not been a good thing. I've been crocheting like crazy. I should show you some of my crocheted stuff. I've also been painting like crazy, man, hit myself in the head. This is Sunday. I did this, which is where we went to have 4th of July on the beach at Hemingway's in, I always want to say Brasilito, but that's not the community. It is in Potrero. So my husband was like, "We have to hang that in the living room. That looks just like what we saw." So I was really happy with that. And then this afternoon, when I get off here, I have to rework this painting. Why? I'll show you. Just goes to show you, you need to admit when you make mistakes and bang on. I did these. I thought were pretty well. I like them. I thought these were. I really like these. I can't wait to hang these. Too happy with the two on the bottom. I gotta rework both of them. I gotta rework this one in more purple and this one in peach, I think, and just rework them completely today. So that's all I'm doing, trying to recover from traumatic healthcare. Can be, yeah, it can be, Cheryl. And that's what I'm trying my damnedest to recover from at this point because it's just crazy. Thank you, J. Marie and Kentucky Girl and everybody who said they like it. Um, My husband was trying to talk me yesterday into exhibiting at the galleries here and selling, and I'm not sure I wanna do that. I did that years ago when I first started painting. I don't do that so much anymore. Plus, the biggest gallery here got shut down. They shut down, so, it would be quite a ways to go to the galleries here, and I'm not sure in my retirement I wanna do that. I know I've been talking about it for years, my book, but I'm pretty close to finishing. I have to write one chapter. Everything is edited and formatted and ready to go. It's ready to be uploaded to be sold. And I'm stuck on wrap up. That's where I am. I want it to be perfect. I don't want to throw too much shade at people that I went to church with here, but some needs to be thrown because that's one of the things that has happened here in Costa Rica is I got to experience more spiritual abuse at the hands of religious people at non-denominational churches. It's just nuts. I don't even go to church anymore. Jim goes, I don't go. I stay home. And it's kind of funny. One of my best friends goes with him, an English lady about my own age. And everybody at the church assumes that she is his wife. So I've called her his church wife, and I'm the wife. I'm the home wife. She's the church wife, and it's all good. Don't know if I ever. Oh, I had no idea. Disabled? I know what that's like. It it was kind of a strange thing with me. I got quite ill in 2006 towards the end, and some of in the beginning of part of 2007, I was working at a large medical clinic with internal medicine doctors. And one of the doctors told me that I was crazy, that there was no way I could be allergic to some of the stuff I was having these massive reactions to. It took me finding the right critical care pulmonologist, and I wanna encourage you today, if you have anything going on with your health, find out, ask around, visit any number of providers if you can of that service, and figure out which one helps, is gonna help you. Finding the right pulmonologist was key to me getting a lid on this thing so I could have a life, because I was really seriously contemplating sui suicide. That's what I hate about YouTube, these stupid words that you cannot say. And getting the right treatments help so much. And that's when my disability journey started. And then when I had a thalamic stroke 3 years ago, it went from breathing problems to breathing problems, walking problems. So I have it both ends now. Positive thoughts help, negative energy makes things worse. I know negative energy makes things worse. A lot of times when I run up against negative now, I'm kinda like, "Nope, talk to Anna." I creep off. I like to tell a story as far as negative and positive energy that took place a couple of months ago. I gotta tell you, this was funny. It's a funny one that happened here in Costa Rica. Um, one of my friends, he plays guitar in a bunch of bands here. He's in the same age group as my husband and I. He was having a 73rd birthday party for himself. His wife was throwing it for him. She's also a painter, so I know her pretty well. Yeah, misdiagnosed, underdiagnosed. That's exactly right. I came back due to heart failure. I'm so sorry to hear that, Cheryl. I have a good doctor who's still doing research on stuff, which I that's the best. So I'm at this party, and there's all these people I don't know, and there's a lot of people I do know, so that's cool. I'm there at this party, and I saw the women in the little hen circle in the living room and didn't join in. I just went on out the door to where everybody else was and where the drum circle was, where they were smoking the devil's lettuce. So I was out there a little while, and I came in to sit down because I had got no balance. Got no balance. I fall down easy. So I said, I'll come in and I'll sit near the hen circle. So I did sit down there, and they were talking about dating at our advanced age. And um, that was interesting. I had to throw a few asides in about, why are you putting up with this crap from guys? I would not be putting up with any of this with buddy I'm dating. I wouldn't have when I was younger. So after that, a lady came up to me and started talking to me, started asking me my educational level, what I did for a living back in the States, all of that crap, and started running her mouth. And it was kind of funny because she was actually a doctor, okay, in the States, closed her clinic and moved to Costa Rica. And she kept asking me over and over again, "What do you do here? What do you do here?" I said, "Well, what do you do here?" "Nothing, nothing. I hate it. I hate it. It's the most boring place on earth." It's like, we have 10 beaches within 10 minutes. How can you be bored? Number one. Number two, there's all sorts of crazy going on in the world and that we avoid here. And there are crazy things to do here that are fun. There's zip lining. You can take a horse and ride anywhere you want. There's all kinds of crazy things to do. There's hobbies. So I started asking her, well, what are you interested in? What is your hobby? The woman literally had no hobby. She didn't like to read. She didn't like to do any kind of arts and crafts. She didn't like to do nothing but medicine. And she was complaining about the educational levels of those of us at the party. I kind of got a kick out of that. And you're talking about negative energy. That woman was the epitome of negative energy when I kept trying to say, "Well, develop some hobbies, the things you like to do that you thought you might never want to you never be able to do. This is the place and the time for that." So I was like, "No, excuse me, I gotta go see a man about a horse. I gotta turn away and look at this wall for a while to get away from you." So I got away from her. It was kind of funny, and, got away from her. My husband came in, and she grabbed him and started talking to him. And my husband is a nice guy. He's a classic nice guy, nice guy, nice guy. He wants to be seen as a nice guy. Me, I don't give a rip about that anymore. I'm not gonna be nice for the sake of being nice because it's kind of a fool's game. I'll observe, I'll sit back, but that's the way it is. So I was kind of sitting back then with my drink and just observing, people watching, which I like to do. The woman grabbed my husband, started talking to him about his educational level, the fact that he had moved all over the world various times, jobs he'd held, and she suddenly proclaimed to the whole room, "This man is the most educated man in the room. Most fascinating and nicest." And she's telling me, "How did you land such a nice husband? Such a perfect husband?" And of course, I'm kind of giggling a little bit because she's not the one running around picking up the drop socks and underwear. Or having to act as tech support on his computer all the time, having to feed the man, all of that. A few minutes ago, I was eating a sandwich and said, "What's for lunch?" "You're already eating lunch. What's for lunch?" At 73, I have passed the need to be nice and just be for real. Cheryl, that's happened to me because of my various illnesses at a much younger age. I think that hit me when I was around 60, where I was like, I'm not putting up with anybody else's stuff just to be nice. And so she was saying all that. I was kind of laughing. I'm like, yeah, he's so perfect. He's so perfect. He's so cool. He's so whatever. And I love the man, but she was like projecting all this stuff on him. It was kind of funny. Her husband came in and they introduced us all to him. I was looking at him. It's like, you were standing next to me for like 20 minutes in the drum circle, devil's weed partaking circle that we were all in. And I thought he was a really nice guy. I liked him. And she apparently doesn't. So I stay away from her. It's kind of funny because I keep running into her everywhere now. I was like, come sit with us. No, I got to go over there right now. I promised I would do this. I just avoid her now because I know the vibes are so bad. So you're talking about negative energy. You just got to prune those people off. I've had to do that so many times in the last 3 or 4 years because I don't have the energy to deal with it. Hell, I'm knocked out just from going to a different beach yesterday and driving around and shopping at a different Walmart subsidiary. It was kind of sad. So it was kind of funny. So we went out also yesterday and shopped and went to my husband's favorite KFC. She is a lost soul, J. Marie, and I'm not in the business of finding lost souls anymore. Once I stopped writing for NLQ, I stopped letting people act like I was their free therapist. And that's kind of what she was trying to do. I just don't have the energy for it any longer. If I was younger, I might have tried to fix her. I'm not young enough. I find it easier and easier to bypass emotional vampires. Cheryl, you're right. It needs to happen. You have to just bypass all of that nonsense and just say, I'm sorry, and move on. I'm sorry. I have to go look at the wall now. I have to go talk to this person. I got to go, whatever, and do that rather than indulging in that. In fact, I had to laugh. My British friend laughed at me a couple of weeks ago because we went to the bar. We like to hang out on Sundays to watch music. And this lady, the lost soul, ran up to me and said, "Oh, you were all going to sit together. It's going to be perfect, blah, blah, blah." And I was kind of like, "Nope, I'm here for a beach walk." And I didn't sit with any of them. I went and walked the beach for a long time. And then I came back and they had moved on by that point. And I don't wish her well. I hope she finds what she's looking for. I'm just not gonna be part of that equation. I don't have the energy for it any longer. And that's the funniness of all this. All these lost souls. And you're right, you're talking about getting a diagnosis, how getting a diagnosis is very difficult. It really is. A friend that constantly drained my energy from her negative energy and constant drama. I felt I had enough, had to walk away. I felt so much better. That is really a hard thing to do. I had to do that to somebody that I dearly love. I still dearly love her. She's a dear sister of mine. But I finally had to say that I could not stay on Messenger with her for hours on end, rehashing the same drama because it was getting to me. It was draining my energy and sapping me. And I feel kind of bad, but every time that I open the door a little bit, she runs right through it with the same dramas all over again, and I'm kinda like, "No, no, 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 I've got this other stuff going on. I don't have time for that." Took me over 15 years. I'm sorry it took you that long. I lucked out. I really did luck out. I got my diagnosis in under a year, and I know that's unheard of, but he diagnosed it, but to actually get the insurance diagnosis, where they ran the test and found out, that took 4 years. That took 4 years before they would say, "Oh, yeah." And it only happened because I went to another doctor, and I had to have skin tags removed and some other things removed, and said, "Hey, can you remove the one here? Because I think it's a mast cell growth. Can you send it to pathology?" So my doctor was able to say finally, with my paperwork, my blood work, my history, and the pathology report, he was able to say conclusively that I had mastocytosis. I had a form of mast cell. But it took that. It's hard to get diagnosis. I've heard horror stories about how hard it is to get some things. Your spell check. Oh, well, it happens. Ivana, I don't know how to pronounce your name, and I don't like that. And I'm the grand mispronouncer. You should hear me here speaking my pidgin Spanish. It is awful sometimes. Awful, but necessary. Necesita. Very awful. So I'm excited. So not only are we going to see Laura and all, I'm going back to something else I was talking about. I'm like leaping around like a frog on a hot tin griddle. We're going to be going to Cope de Dota. My husband, okay, great, thank you. My husband taught English at Cope de Dota for 5 months, 5 long months. Cope de Dota is about an hour south of San Jose. It's in the mountains of the Central Valley. It's way up there. When you're going up there, the roads are like the steepest angle you've ever seen. The first time I went up there, I was like, this, because I was afraid we were going to crash. It's a village. It is a tiny little village that I had the hardest time with. For me, it was a hard transition, very hard transition. I moved there, lived there myself for 3 months, and it was the hardest transition I've ever been through. I cried every single day there. But by the end, I'd finally started to adjust to it. I got off the bus. I got off the taxi, not the bus, and the landlords was setting me up, and she was saying, "Okay, here, this." And I asked her for a hand towel in Spanish, a washcloth, and a top sheet. She had no idea what that was. She had no idea. I was like, "Oh my, we're gonna have some issues because I am used to the way things are done, how I do my things. I'm particular." So it was hard. And it was hard being on display in the village where there are no other Americans and you're it, and everybody's staring at you like you got 3 heads, and you could ask weird questions. The best thing I'd learned was how to hop the bus to get to the next town over, which was a small town, but it was a town, not a village. A town, not a village, and They had a beautiful park. I could sit in the park and read a book in the afternoon. They had a grocery store. I could buy things I could not find. That was essential because my landlady liked to serve every form of potato in one meal sometimes and 3 kinds of rice. So, diabetic life forever? Oh, strange questions. I used to get, was I Tico? I used to get, was I part black? I used to get all kinds of stuff. People would ask me when they found out I was from Louisiana. I get the, do you keep alligators under your bed when you lived in Louisiana as a kid? Do you know Donald Trump? And they found we lived in the Washington, D.C. area. I am having a lot of amazing experiences here, most definitely. And I always say the litmus test is what you think about the president here, because people will always ask you what you think of the president, what you think of the presidential candidates, and they measure you by that, the locals. I'm telling you. And if you don't act like a tourist, like the epitome of the ugly Americans, people are going to want to know why. No, yeah, they ask you about Trump. They ask you about Trump a lot. And he's not universally loved here, I'm gonna say that. And they're like, he go ahead. He said they're sending Mexicans and they're rapists and this and that and the other. Well, F him. A lot. It's like, ooh, I wasn't gonna go there with it. I wasn't even gonna say that he's not my favorite candidate, but Biden's not my favorite candidate either. So it was kind of funny how divided, how universally reviled he is here is pretty big. And they always wanna know if you like him or not. That's gonna be the thing that they are gonna ask, and it sometimes can be a pain in the butt. It can go crazy, and I try not to do that. I try not to say anything too controversial, at least out in there, unless I'm about to have an asthma attack, because a lot of times when the asthma is bad, I get very salty before the hour or so before the attack, and I'm kinda like, "F this, F that." It was the same in the Netherlands. I was asked if I ever had to shoot anyone or always carried a gun. Sure, like, I asked about that too a couple times, and it was I'm like, "Oh my goodness, no, I've never done that." And here, it's really hard to have a gun here. It's hard to get one, it's hard to have one. You have to actually, put up some money, get this insurance. You have to go through a psych exam to prove you're not crazy before they give you one. It's expensive and time consuming. And I've seen so many Americans arrive here and have their guns confiscated immediately, and they're all salty and screeching about it and going, didn't you even read the list of crap you can and cannot import? Please do that before you ship your stuff here. And the Euro News always talks about gun culture. I know it does. I see that on, BBC World Service frequently, and it's like, and the gun culture is pervasive. And I'm not even trying to talking about taking guns away from everybody. I'm not opposed to having a weapon. I am opposed to some people having weapons because they don't have a lick of common sense. I kinda wish they would do like here and make it difficult and make it where you have to go undergo a psych exam. And if you're nuts, you don't get the gun. Oh, but then they would be screaming about their freedom, so I know that would go over like a lead balloon. The other thing they could do is they could always make the ammunition very difficult to get. Make the ammunition the control thing, not the gun. So the gun culture is pretty bad, and I'm hoping that it swings the other way eventually in the US. I wanna know why the mourning doves are coming around so much today. They're all in the trees here. So it's kinda like just about my name when I try to introduce myself. I get asked if I'm related to the late ex-wife to his late ex-wife because my name is the same, just spelled a little differently in the same country. Czech Republic. Ah, Czech Republic, that's awesome. I have not had an opportunity to travel there, but it's on my It's on my list. I wanna go to all the places that were formerly, formerly, like, communist nations. I still wanna go to Russia and many other places. I wanna go to Eastern Europe badly. We traveled through did some traveling in Eastern Europe. We lived in Europe, and I know what it's like under a dictatorship. I don't know what it's like under freedom, and I wanna go and see all that stuff. I've always wanted to. Yes? Okay. He's got a ladder. Sure, it's dangerous. You are not related to Ivana Trump? Good. Poor Ivana. He's got her buried on his golf course, and they don't even bother to mow. It's just it's kind of the ultimate in disrespect. It really is. Oh, so what are you guys up to today? I'm kind of putting off because I gotta go clean the bathroom, and one of the things I absolutely have to do is I have to chip off the rest of the, grout and put new grout in because the last time the guys did it, they did such a crappy job that it grew mold behind it. I have heard that, Cheryl. I have heard that Budapest is absolutely wonderful. And, that's one thing watching Game of Thrones and the House of Dragon where they filmed some of that in former places that were closed. I'm just like, I'm there. I wanna go there so badly. I really wanna see what those places are like. Now, when we were lived in Europe, you could get a vacation on the Mediterranean in what was the country called then? In one of the Eastern European countries that butts up against the Mediterranean, and I really wanted to do that. I still wanna go to Albania, even though they say it's quite unsafe. Amazing time. I'm sure you did. Ah, I'm so happy to hear that. Even though I sometimes will babble and really make total sense. Oh, speaking of babbling and not making total sense, I think I'm gonna go. It's been over 30 minutes and I can hear my voice is fading and I'm starting to fade a little bit. So I just wanted to hop on here quick and tell you guys I missed you so much when I was having all the problems with the internet. So now that that's all resolved for now, I'm gonna come back and do a few I'm gonna go back to doing live streams. If you go to the Czech Republic, visit Carl yeah, I really wanna go to all those places and buy as many handicrafts and arts as possible. Love you guys. I'm just gonna go ahead and go.